Let's turn our attentions to rugby. Dave Christian joins us, and it's a massive weekend for Ramsey in their hunt for promotion, isn't it, Dave?
It is indeed, Chris. And last week's result was absolutely perfect. Maximum points at home, and Parkonians went away with nothing, and that result couldn't have gone better for Ramsey. This week is going to be a bit more of a challenge at Birchfield. Birchfield pretty much home and hosed already, although they've got a lot of games in hand that they need to tick off. And they won at the Murrick Park as well, which sort of always gives me a little eyebrow twitch when I see them going away to play. The guys are on the early flight, and it'll be a long day for them. They won't be back in Ramsey till about 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And Birchfield going well at home. Pitch might be a bit soft. They haven't had much game time since the beginning of December with various postponements. I think if Ramsey could come back with any sort of points from this game, a losing bonus point would be better than nothing. But really, looking at the tail of the tape and the form, you've got to think it's really a damage limitation exercise for Ramsey. Try and go away, concede as few points as possible. I'm sure the players will have it in their mind that Birchfield are beatable. It wasn't that big a reversal at the Murrick Park. 34-17, and Birchfield's scrum half on that day was exceptional. Plays a lot of rugby league, and he was a star in the jewel in the crown, I think is probably the best way to describe him. If that guy's available for Birchfield tomorrow, then he's going to give Ramsey problems, but if he's not, and there's a soft pitch there, that'll level it out a little bit, and it'll just be a grind out, and maybe the guys can get a point or two out of it.
Well, according to you then, Dave Christian, it's a bleak outlook for Ramsey.
Yeah.
But let's just rewind, because last week, albeit they played the leaders Ellesmere Port, I believe, but Birchfield lost. Ramsey registered a win, and Michael Flynn, it's his birthday. He'll be looking for a present from his teammates, which will be the win.
Yeah, well, I think a decent present for Flinney will be any sort of points that come back really from this fixture. Birchfield, by rights, should be top of the table. Yes, they lost to Ellesmere Port last week, but that's their first defeat of the season. They beat Ellesmere Port when they were at Birchfield, so them two are all square. Birchfield have had 5 points taken off them for a rule infringement. We think it's an unregistered player, which generally gives you an automatic 5-point deduction. That's shaved them points, which otherwise, with their games in hand, would put them top or very close to top of the table. So Birchfield and Ellesmere Port, they're the two form sides, and for the next 3 weeks, Ramsey have got them.
And it's a fight for a top 5 finish. How big a blow for Ramsey will this be if they do lose tomorrow?
No great shakes, I think, because there's 7 clubs vying for positions in the top 5. We've been doing some analysis on the run-ins. Birchfield and Ellesmere Port aren't going to concede very much in the way of points in their run-ins. So those two are pretty much home and dry. So it's a scrap for the other 3 places. And all those other sides are in the mix with Birchfield, Ellesmere Port, or each other. And that's where the points are going to pick up. Ramsey have got Birchfield and Ellesmere Port twice. Some of the other clubs are playing each other twice, and a draw or a win at home and a loss away, that's going to cancel out any little advantages they have. We're predicting Ramsey should finish 3rd or 4th.
Well, that's good news for them, or a positive prediction from you, Dave. Can you give us any team news for tomorrow's match? I believe there may be a few absentees for Ramsey.
Yeah, Matt Livesey will come in at hooker. In the back row, Nathan Thompson is fit and will be travelling, so that's good news. Dan Bomwick is also fit. He's going to start in the back row. In the back line, I think we are struggling a little bit. James Wren is going to be making the trip. He might get himself onto the field. Dave Keenan also making the trip, so it's good news for them. Really good news, though, is Callum Clegg, university student. Callum not returned to studies yet. He is available tomorrow, and he will fit into the Ramsey back row to make up for the absence of John Watling.
And if he plays well, they'll keep him from his studies even longer, I imagine, would they?
No, I think Callum's got his eyes sight on bigger targets. I think he's looking for a full-time professional gig, and fingers crossed from that goes well for him. But at the moment, he's a young man, and he's still on our books, so we'll be using him.
Who needs qualifications when you can get promotion from South Lancashire and Cheshire Division 3 South? I don't know. Email me in if you've got any suggestions on that. There's no games at the Murrick Park tomorrow, quite a rarity, but there is a Shimon Wilson Manx Plate semi-final between Castletown and Western Vikings at Paulson Park. And there's clear favourites for this one as well, because Western Vikings won the last match between the two sides 57-12, and that was only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm going to try and take this game in for Saturday Live tomorrow. Also going to try and get to Douglas versus Wilmslow. That's an early kick-off, so hopefully on Saturday Live we should have 2 games, depending on the weather and how cold they get at the first one. Castletown, Western Vikings, on paper it should be a reasonably straightforward Vikings win, but Vikings haven't had too much game time either. Castletown did have some game time last week. They shipped a big score, but they did play reasonably well in parts. They put 30 points past Southern Nomads, which is a reasonable achievement in itself. So they'll be feeling reasonably happy going into this game, and this will be one of the games that they can feel that they're in with a chance with. Castletown struggling at the bottom of the Shibboleth Wilson Manx Shield table, and when they come up against the big guns, they're always worried about letting a large score in. But anyone else outside of Southern Nomads and Douglas Celts and Castletown, I think they've got a fighting chance. So they'll have a real scrap at this one, and Western Vikings won't find it easy at all.
And home advantage as well.
Yeah, I think that may... Well, it's a two-edged sword because Castletown be familiar with the ground, but I suspect Western Vikings will like the conditions as well. Small pitch, allowing their forwards to do all that hard yard, the big smashes into contact that the guys from Peel love doing. I think that'll even things up on the pitch. But I think Vikings, it's probably going to suit them maybe a little bit better than Castletown.
And this is to decide who goes into the final of the Shimon Wilson Manx Plate. But the other finalists won't be decided for some time due to postponements.
Yeah, we lost the Douglas Celts Ramsey B game last week due to a waterlogged pitch. We were hoping to get that on this week. It hasn't quite worked out that way. Everybody, I think, was counting on it being a free week. So they certainly were at Ramsey. They weren't expecting to progress past Douglas Celts. So we were struggling to get a side. I think there's a group of lads gone away skiing, which should be very much frowned upon mid-season. You can't really do that when there's rugby on. But anyway, we're missing a few guys, and that's made the side short. So they couldn't quite get a side out to play Douglas Celts this week. So I'll have to go back to the drawing board when we fixture list over the weekend and see where we can slot that in and progress this one towards a final.
So a busy weekend for you. You're heading to 2 games or hoping to catch 2 games. And a big weekend, as I've said, for Ramsey. A daunting trip for them to Birchfield, who, according to Dave Christian, should be top of the league. So a big weekend in local rugby.